Let's begin with the first section, and in this section we will discuss the procedure known as inferior antrostomy. We will discuss the indications and contraindications of inferior antrostomy, what's the technique of this procedure and how we can manage the patient after the procedure, and what are the complications associated with inferior antrostomy. So intranasal inferior meatal antrostomy. Ostomy is, remember, os or ostomy is the opening or creation of the opening, and this is in the maxillary antrum. Maxillary is the sinus located, and the largest sinus is the air-filled space. So it's the opening in the antrum of the maxillary sinus. Inferior meatal antrostomy. A process of making opening in the nasoantral wall of inferior meatus by intranasal route. So from the nose, from the intranasal route, an opening is created in the inferior meatus, in the nasoantral wall, the wall between the nose and the antrum of the maxillary sinus. An opening is created, and that is known as inferior antrostomy. Here in this diagram, if you see, this is the inferior meatus. So the opening is made in the nasoantral wall of the inferior meatus. This is about the nasoantral wall between the nose and the antrum of the maxillary sinus. This is the inferior meatus. This is the septum of the nose. So superseded by functional endoscopic sinus surgery, local or general anesthesia. So the inferior antrostomy, this procedure can be performed under the local anesthesia or general anesthesia. Position same as in submucosal resection operation, so same patient position. Now, what are some indications why we need to do the inferior antrostomy or inferior meatal antrostomy? The indications for this procedure, if there is chronic purulent maxillary sinusitis, if there is inflammation of the maxillary sinus that is chronic, if there is pus formation in the maxillary sinus, to drain that abscess or pus, we need to do the inferior antrostomy. So one most important indication for this procedure is chronic purulent maxillary sinusitis. Contraindications. What are the conditions in which we should not do this procedure? Irreversible change in sinus mucosa, for example, polypoidal hypertrophy, presence of osteitis, and suspicion of malignancy. So we should use this procedure if there is chronic purulent maxillary sinusitis, but if there are irreversible changes in the maxillary sinus, we should not use this procedure, and these irreversible changes can lead to polyp formation, polypoidal hypertrophy. If there is suspicion that there might be malignancy, we should not use that, or if there is inflammation of the ostia or bone, we should not do it. The technique of the procedure, this is the maxillary sinus here. This is the inferior turbinate nasal cavity. So that's the connection between the nasal cavity and maxillary sinus. Opening is made through between these, between the inferior meatus nasoantral wall of the inferior meatus. So technique is inferior turbinate. Here you can see this is the inferior turbinate. Inferior turbinate is fractured medially and upwards with a large periosteal elevator. So we fracture the inferior turbinate medially and upwards with the large periosteal elevator. Nasoantral wall of inferior meatus perforated with curved hemostat. Opening is enlarged, forward with Kerrison's bone forceps or reverse back biting forceps, backward with Luke's or straight through cut forceps. Intrasinus pus debris removed by suction and packing into sinus and nose if there is severe bleeding. So technique is fracture of the inferior turbinate, then we should do the elevation, nasoantral wall of inferior meatus perforated with curved hemostat. Opening is created forward by the enlargement of the opening. How we enlarge the opening by forward by the use of Kerrison bone forceps or reverse back biting forceps, and we can use backward with Luke's or straight through cut forceps. So these are the techniques used for inferior antrostomy. An opening is created, and through that opening, if there is debris or pus, that is removed, and after the procedure the sinus opening is packed if there is severe bleeding. Post-operative care of the patient, intrasinus and nasal pack is removed after 24 to 48 hours. Complications, post-operative bleeding. Post-operative bleeding is usually associated with all these procedures because an opening is created, the inferior turbinate is fractured, then widening of the opening is done by different forceps, so we can easily do the drainage through that opening, and then packing is performed, especially if there is severe bleeding. So post-operative bleeding is one of the complications associated with the procedure. Injury to nasolacrimal duct is also associated with the inferior antrostomy. So that was all about section 1. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.